music reaction.
Oh, yeah. All right. We're going to continue on with our Chris Kläfford analysis of how he can go all the way with America's Got Talent. So in the last video, we posed a question that we knew we would get people lit up. And that is, does Chris have what it takes to win a competition like America's Got Talent? And I posed a potential answer of maybe it doesn't actually matter whether or not he wins, right? Because what is his big opportunity here being on a show like this? We know, of course, that if he does win, it's going to bring a lot of exposure, right? And that's important. That is part of the reason why he's on a show like this. He wants more exposure to win over more fans, to be able to have a global presence, to be a global sensation.
Right.
We're going to finally share with you our strategy of how he can go about taking this whole thing home.
God, I can't wait for this because now we finally be able to understand how to win a contest, John.
That's right. This isn't actually just about Chris Kläfford. This is a strategy you can use on how to go about winning an American Got Talent contest like this. All right, so let's dig into it, y'all. First of all, make sure you go watch the first half of the video because what this does is sets the whole stage of what the market opportunity is like, what the problem is worth solving, and the market validation, all that stuff. And I also broke down two competitors I think that are the front runners, and that is Cody Lee and The Unbeatable. What does it take to take those two down? And now we're going to get into the details of how we think he could pull it off.
All right, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, my brain.
All right, so how can Chris do this?
How, John?
Any artist you are, you have to recognize what your competitive advantage is to win the whole thing. There's oftentimes a fallacy, I think, of people saying, well, what you got to do is work on your weakness. I think once you are already in this position where you're already in the finals, where you're already this big, it's not about fixing your weaknesses. It's about doubling down on your strength, focusing on that. You don't have time to fix your weaknesses.
That would be later when you're famous.
Well, I think weaknesses are things that you have to work on gradually over time. He's got about a 2 or 3 week window here, and you're not going to fix those things in 2 to 3 weeks. What you got to do is whatever you do really well on,
go for it.
Go for it.
Focus on that.
So what is it he has an advantage here on? Well, one is he's a seasoned performer.
What does that mean?
It means that he has many more years of performing on stage, winning competitions compared to the other acts. He should be coming across like someone who is established rather than coming across like this up and coming scenario. In other words, very difficult at this point to convince the audience that you're an underdog because someone like The Unbeatable right now comes across more like an underdog. Chris should come across like, you know what, the reason why you want to vote for me is because I am proven that I can take this mantle of being a global sensation. So let's make that happen. For him to win over more of Cody Lee's fans, I think what he's got to sell is him as an original artist. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's got to sing original song. It means that he has the ability, he has a style, a persona, everything about him speaks to the fact that he is a unique individual out there performing. All right? Where I think with Cody Lee, his gift is being able to emulate any style. I think some people can argue there's a Cody Lee style about the way he sings. The reality is what he does is be able to listen to any type of song, pick it up and just play it again and emulate not just the playing, but also that person singing. That's his gift. All right, to win over The Unbeatable fans, well, The Unbeatable does showmanship like nobody else. Right? So Chris has to up his game on showmanship because I think it's going to be very difficult to try to do flips. I'm not saying he needs to have a guitar on fire while doing a flip. No, I think there's other ways to go about doing showmanship because at the end of the day, it isn't about being more intimate in the final act. It's to come across like as a big production. While right now, everything about Chris comes across like as an individual person. If you're going to come across as an individual person, you're going to be competing against Cody Lee. If you want to come across as a big showman, you're going to be competing against The Unbeatable. I think the point is you have to get both of these together to carve out a middle area that these two can't touch.
For some reason, Philip popped in my head. Remember when he performed Home?
That's a great example, right? So Philip Phillips, who won American Idol back in 2012, I honestly can't believe it's been like 7 years
Wow.
now. He is actually a very intimate performer as well. He plays with the guitar.
Yes.
A great example, great comparison with Chris. But for that final performance, he had, oh my goodness, you were up on your feet. You felt the adrenaline rush. He had a huge band. Like, you have to go see it. It really is a fantastic act that took his solo performance and made it feel like it was a lot bigger.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
More musical instruments that they added to it. Really fantastic example.
Oh, I was right, John. See, I'm listening sometimes.
All right. And the final competitive advantage Chris has, and I think he has to really tap into this now in order to pull this off. He has some amazing mentor, advisors, and friends who can help him level up that these other people don't have.
Oh.
Well, you think about it, right? If Chris has to really elevate his music, take in a performance and make it much more original, well, you know, he has actually performed with Martin Almgren, which was another Idol winner from Sweden. In other words, he's actually been interacting with a number of music artists who have amazing capability to write original music, who can help him shape his stuff to become bigger and better. He also knows the past judges.
True
From
that.
Swedish Idol, right? And these people are not nobody. These people have helped many people become successful. They know what it takes to win these competitions. He needs to be able to connect back with them and say, all right, what do I need to do to take my performance and make it bigger? What do I do with taking this song and making it feel bigger? Not just my interpretation, but my stage presence as well. This is something Coda Lee does not have. This is something The Unbeatable does not have.
Right.
Right? He needs to be able to leverage them so that they can help him pick the right song. And then second, how do you arrange the music so that it works for a contest like this? Because they know what this contest is about.
Righty.
All right. So the solution here, all right? A number of things that Chris needs to do to go all the way to the finals. First, he needs to interact with the fans a lot more. Now, this is something we saw with Zephanie, which was a Idol winner from the Philippines. We actually got her to comment on some of her videos, and apparently she was out there interacting with fans, winning them over. And that's important. Like, you have to go out your viewer way to win over fans. We're part of the biggest fan page on Facebook, and I haven't seen Chris out there interacting that much. And I think it's the missed opportunity. Right? He needs to get his fans activated because they're the ones that are going to take this to their friends.
Right.
Chris can't do it alone. He has to think like BTS does, right? The South Korean boy band that has basically dominated the world because of their fan base, which they call the army. And they're out there all the time, posting on social media, posting here, posting there.
Right.
Every bit of content that Chris puts out there, he needs his fan base to continue to spread it.
Right. I even thought he commented on that fan page one time because I was like, oh, I got so excited and I was like, oh my God, he messaged.
It wasn't him.
He commented. It wasn't him.
Something you have to start doing, Chris, especially in the next 2 weeks. It's not too late because you can activate an audience very quickly in that time frame. Now, the other thing too, right? Like, what do you post up, right? Well, he can post up a lot of vlogs. Now, the thing is that he actually has older vlogs, but they're all in Swedish. We can't enjoy them, and we want to hear about his life, right? The fan base have been really great about translating stuff for us into English, especially the comments the judges make in his past performance. Like, we need to get the fans activated to do more of that stuff. Even short form stuff like stories on Instagram, right?
Absolutely.
He needs to post on social media every single day because all of this isn't about promoting him on America's Got Talent. It's about telling his story. It takes too long to sit down and make one long video about this is who I am. No one's going to watch that. You have to constantly mite it out every day.
Make a relationship with your fans.
Exactly. Connect with your fans every single day because over time, they get your story. And that's key. You don't have enough time on America's Got Talent to tell your story. They don't give it to you. You only got 2 minutes to sing. So you have to build a story up where you're not up there so that when you perform a song, they are literally feeling the emotional investments coming through. That's how you get people emotionally invested at this stage. Not America's Got Talent, but when you're off of the show.
I have a question. Are they allowed to talk about AGT outside?
Yes and no. I think there are things that they can say and they can't say, because I've seen a number of artists have posted stuff up about, hey, this is what I'm practicing and whatnot. They can't give away things of like when they're going to be performing next if it hasn't been revealed. But I guarantee you there's a lot that they could talk about, like, oh my goodness, I'm nervous, or hey, I'm talking with other judges, I'm thinking about different songs. What songs do you guys want me to sing, right?
Well,
like even get feedback,
too,
that kind of stuff like that.
Feedback.
Yeah, really, really important. And the second solution is, of course, song choice.
Yes.
Now, I've seen a lot of people out there say that, you know what, he should sing one of his original songs, right? It'll give people an understanding of what kind of music artist he is. And I actually think that might be a little bit too risky here.
He already performed his original song and it put him into jeopardy, right?
Yeah, I think with original song, right, it's a tough bet, right? Because one is you have to hope that your song is an absolute winner, right? It's a chart-topping scenario. And let's be honest, if his songs were number one chart-topping around the world, we would already know it. The whole world would already know it, and he probably wouldn't need to be on America's Got Talent.
Right.
Chances are his songs are a little bit more niche, and because of that, it may be very difficult to reach a massive audience of America's Got Talent. The second part, too, is I think it isn't a question about whether it's a good song or not. I think actually all his songs are really great. I mean, we listen to this stuff on the kitchen sessions, and sometimes we're moved to tears. Every time we're captivated with jaws dropped. The thing is that not every song fits this competition. And that's the key thing that you have to keep in mind. 2 minutes to win people over, either emotionally or through adrenaline pumping kick.
You can't be in the middle.
Or
you can't.
both.
Yes.
Right? Just cutting a short version of your song isn't enough. So that raises an interesting question. Is he better off seeing a known song? Well, I think this comes down to, can he find something that everyone knows? But let me walk you through this, right?
Okay.
His opportunity here, his challenge here, the problem he's got to solve is that he's got to create massive appeal for voters, the audience in the U.S. So that he has to find songs that the U.S. audience likes. He needs to appeal to his target market. Now, when I'm saying massive appeal, I'm talking about everyone out there, not just his target audience. I'm talking about the US. Now, when I talk about his target market, well, you have to understand his target market is not Gen Z. It's not the younger audience. In fact, the younger audience aren't really even watching America's Got Talent, right? They don't even watch TV anymore, right? That audience has already cut the cord. They go to YouTube. He has to pick a song that I think has to fit the millennial audience, probably a little bit older, because if I go and look on Facebook today and I look at people in that fan club, it is more closer to people our age than it is the teenage audience, right? So you had to pick a song that's timeless. So I think that narrows it down for Chris a little bit, right? What other song is just as timeless as Imagine that has such emotional impact that people are going to feel invested?
Right.
Now, the key thing here is whatever he picks, because the judges are going to comment, going like, why did you sing a cover song? Why not emphasize you being an original artist? The point is, he can do that with an amazing reinterpretation. He needs to take something that is well known and make it so Chrisified.
Right?
He needs to absolutely twist it up in a way that becomes bigger in itself. 2 minutes to make it sound so original that people want to download your version of the song ongoing.
Right.
And we've seen this happen before with a number of music artists. So I love that interpretation so much. It becomes like number one on Spotify, becomes number one on iTunes. That interpretation becomes a new hot thing.
Absolutely.
So that's, I think, what Chris needs to do. He has the opportunity to tug at emotions by building a fan base offline, picking a song that is emotionally going to make you feel like tears down. But that other piece, which is how do you get the adrenaline pumping? Well, you need to interpret it in a way that is going to end in, I think, a beautiful, large, orchestrated sort of band feel. Start off intimate, which is what Chris does really well, right? Very quiet, very intimate. But halfway through, bam!
Shocked.
Have the band come out, have backup singers come out, and make it feel like a crescendo of a performance that gets people going, wow, now this is a Vegas act. This is the big potential of what he can do. Hasn't quite done that first half, second half, splitting of the song
Right.
that I've seen some artists out there who've done it so well. Like if you ever go watch some of our videos with Dimash. Now Dimash has entered a number of competitions before, and I tell you, he dominates in these competitions because he knows how to work that audience. Worth watching his stuff.
Right.
If you look at how Dimash performs and the song choices he makes and the stage presence, he always starts off very intimate. He lets people get a taste of what his voice can do, and you can feel the emotion. And then halfway through, it literally feels like he just stops for a second, and then he goes, boom!
It's like
he sings
riding a roller
huge-
coaster, John.
Exactly. He literally delivers the biggest performance. His voice goes on places you don't expect, and you're literally off your chair going like, wow.
Like, wow.
Wow. Chris has this potential to do the same thing because we now seen him able to sing both in a very intimate way and sing big with that voice and that gruffness. And with the guitar, he can play fast as well.
Right.
I think that's his best shot at this point. So we've given some examples of Philip from American Idol. I've given another example of Dimash. And I'll give you one more example that some of you may not have heard of, but it was really fascinating to watch. And it's this guy named Colin Thackeray.
Love changes everything.
I don't think you've seen this, but he ended up winning Britain's Got Talent this year.
Oh.
And I think a lot of people thought another person that we did react to called Magician X, who had the most mind-blowing trick of like all time. Literally, it took 2 years for this guy to plan it out. You have to go see it. It was completely crazy. Everyone thought he was going to win, but Colin came from behind and he won it. Now, Colin Thackeray is not a professional singer. He's a war veteran, way up there in years, an old dude, and his voice is starting to get shaky. It's a beautiful sound, but not something you would ever think would win a competition or go on to perform. But what he did for the final performance was he sang a song, a beautiful love ballad to his wife, who is no longer with him. And he brought out an entourage of other war veterans who sang backup for him, and rose petals falling everywhere. And I swear that at the end of that performance, I was crying. I'm like, I felt so proud.
I'm already crying while listening to you.
Brilliant choice of
Explaining
going
it.
set up, and I think that's what pushed them over the edge. He took something that was a very intimate situation, and he sang a song with all these people that made it bigger than life. The voters spoke, and they picked him because at the end of the day, he got both the adrenaline pumping and the intimacy. Now, not to say that Magician X didn't have that. He definitely nailed both of them. But I think Colin Thackeray had this momentum going in. And I tell you, momentum that builds to like that. And I think Chris Kläfford here has the opportunity to become that next conversation piece if he does this right.
Yes. And if Chris is going to find this video and listen to you.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, maybe this is the opportunity for the fans out there to start sharing this and for everyone to chime in. Now, the thing is with these sort of suggestions is that you take the data and you analyze it, you can come up with a lot of different possibilities. And now that I share this with you all, you can come up and interpret stuff. Maybe you have additional information that can help fill this out, and you can come up with a solution that's even better than what I am suggesting. Or you could even take it further and pick out an exact song that he can do, or ways he can interpret it, right? Take it deeper, if you will. Take it further than I have. Well, if you go back to the original premise here, which is what's the market opportunity, it is not to become number one. I think he can easily place in the top 5 with his strategy and become a global sensation. It was fun to actually put together, so I hope you all enjoyed it.
Wow. What a great analysis. That was a lot, but it was so informative, easy to understand as well. That's the most important thing.
I made it easy to understand, babe?
Yes, it was easier.
So now that you've done this, can you start doing this like your own?
Oh,
the next
hell
one will be
no.
your analysis?
Hell no, not there yet.
Not there yet. It's a template. You just follow the template.
Oh, Lordy.
All this information, you could have done it, right? You already know Chris as much as well as I do. I'm pretty sure you're sitting by my side every time we're sitting here reacting to Chris.
Oh,